Hi, welcome. I'm Lorelai with Namasturm Yoga. Today's practice is going to be VIN and YIN. So let's come to the mat and get started. Okay, so let's come to a seat to begin, and we're just going to sort of prep our minds, prep our spirits, let's say, to get going on this practice. So bring your hands to your knees, have the legs just crossed nice and easy. Let the head float on top of the neck. Close your eyes. Tune into your breath. And give yourself a little time to slow down, check in, notice where you're at, and then just nudge yourself in the direction of preparing for this practice. So that may mean letting go of what you've got going on in your mind and all the things that you did today and all the things you have to do tomorrow. That may mean focusing in on your breath and really just letting yourself notice that for maybe the first time today. Whatever it is that helps you transition, just take a moment here to breathe and shift. So this practice is a VIN and YIN, and actually we could call it like a Yin and VIN because we are going to do the YIN first. Yin is a deep stretching practice, and it might seem like we would want to do that after we warm up with some Vinyasa yoga, and some people do, and there's nothing wrong with doing it that way. However, Yin is technically designed to be done when the body is still cold. It is a cold practice, whereas Vinyasa is more Yang, which is like a hot practice. So we're going to actually start with the Yin, and we're going to do some deep stretching right away for maybe the first half an hour, and then we will transition once we've gotten some things kind of opened up, and maybe we're going to just feel a little different. We're going to transition to the Vinyasa portion. So I'm going to be working with a timer. I actually think it's really helpful to have poses timed as we hold them, especially some things are left and right, and we don't want to work in an imbalance. So you'll hear a little sound every time we're going to transition. But the first pose we're going to do is really simple. We can just do it right from seated. So adjust yourself on your mat so you can bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees go wide. You may choose to tuck the heels in, but you don't have to. And then it's just a matter of draping. We're not going to push the knees down. We're not going to pull up against the feet with the hands. We're not going to try to force ourselves down in any way. We're just going to give in and try to let go. So let's go ahead and start that. We're going to spend about 3 minutes in each pose, which sounds like a long time, but it's not that bad. And that really is what allows our bodies to have a chance to open to them. So this practice can be done very quietly, very simply. But because I understand that many of you might be new to this type of practice, I will just give a little bit of explanation as we transition to poses, and then also perhaps in poses in terms of what exactly is going on here. So the idea with Yin is that we're not focusing on stretching the muscles per se, but we're trying to go for the more stable or still organs of the body. I mean, like our connective tissue, joints, ligaments, tendons. You might get into the fascia a little bit here. So we're really just letting go, and we're not activating muscles like we would do in like a Yang practice when we were trying to stretch. We're letting gravity do all the work. Any effort that we exert in this practice is actually effort of resistance. So if you feel like as you're folding here, you're going too far, too fast, push down into the hands and lift yourself up a little bit. That will be true of other poses as well. But if you feel like you are in your way of going deeper, you can walk your hands out, give in more, and allow yourself to let go. focus on the breath. If you like working with an Ujjayi practice, that I recommend it, but you don't have to. Some people like working with a mantra in Yin, so if that's something that resonates with you and you have a mantra that you like, you could speak it, or you could just like think it in your head so you have something to focus on as we go. We're going to transition out of this first pose, walk the hands in slowly, and we're going to come to a low lunge. So again, turn whatever direction makes sense for you on your mat, but you're going to let the right foot come forward, and then use your hands to help you step the left leg back and let the left knee drop down to the floor. We're going to walk the right foot out a little so that you've got a little space between that the chest can start to drop down inside of the knee. Maybe the shoulder comes inside of the knee. This is called dragon pose. It would just be a low lunge in yoga, but the yin version is called dragon. We're going to allow ourselves to sink down. You may at some point find that you can bring your forearms to the floor, and you're allowed to do that. If you want to use something like a block to prop your forearms, you certainly can do that. If you need to stay on your hands, that's fine. But we're just trying to let go. Try to keep the right knee stacked above the ankle, so don't let it wobble out. We wouldn't want the knee to be ahead of the ankle, like if the heel was tucked in too far. So your shin is pretty vertical here. Let the head hang. Give in and try to let go. And then we'll come on up slowly. So this is a very still, slow-moving practice. We're going to switch legs. So the right knee is going to come back, and then do what you need to do to step the left foot forward. Again, we don't want the foot too close to the knee, or the front knee is going to go too far forward. So make sure you've got a good long lunge. Let yourself start to lower down. Adjust your feet, the distance between your front heel and your back knee as needed. Left knee stays over ankle. Hands come down. And then maybe those forearms start to make their way down to the ground. Go where you can go, but resist where you need to. So sometimes these stretches can be intense or challenging, or they'll create sensation. If that turns into pain, that's an indicator to ease off. So we're not trying to find how to get through pain. We're not trying to make ourselves suffer here. We're just allowing our body to be challenged by giving in, letting gravity do all the work. And then also seeing if we can challenge ourselves to stay still for a longer period of time than we may be used to. Now we're going to move up and we're going to step the left knee back to meet the right. And then we're going to lower all the way to the floor. So take yourself down to your belly. Try to let the legs be about hip distance apart. Extend the toes behind you. We're going to start with Sphinx. So we're starting with the elbows right under the shoulders. And then the heart just drapes forward. Now the head might be up, but if you feel like dropping the head off the neck, that's fine. So we're not actively pushing down into the floor per se and lifting up, but the next stage we'll go to is seal pose, and there may be a little bit more work that has to happen with the arms if you want to go to that version. But here we're thinking about letting our chest almost like swag, like as if you were a string of Christmas lights between your neck and your navel. Now, if you want to go all the way to seal, spread your fingers, press your palms down, and then extend the arms so that you're propped up a little higher. But there's still a sense of that sinking down. So you're letting your chest sink down and the shoulder blades maybe just sort of end up dropping together. If you want to go higher, you can walk your hands in, but don't activate the glutes or the low back or activate the muscles of the upper back. We're just using the arms. Ease up if you need to, go deeper if you need to. The arms are working, but everything else is letting go. Maybe the head and neck as well. And really the arms, it's less that they're working and more that we're digging the hands, letting the hands kind of dig into the mat for traction. So they might feel activated, but they're not pushing or trying to pull us deeper in any way. Keep breathing. move to frog pose. So walk your hands in and bring yourself to your knees. Now I'm actually going to turn to the other direction on my mat because we want to take the knees really, really wide as you can get them, side to side. And then the shins move back behind you so that they're like your feet are directly behind the knees. Now, we're not just going to walk forward and come to our belly, right? We could, but instead what we're going to do is think about moving the hips back towards the heels as if we were going to go to a wide child's pose, and then simultaneously drop down to the arms and let the chest lower. So we're allowing our bodies to sink in two directions, hips back, heart down. You can relax the head and neck and breathe. If it gets too intense, you could walk your knees a little closer together or take more weight on your arms. So don't go to the point of pain, go to where you're feeling sensation, but it's not too intense. Coming up slow, use your hands to support you. Bring your knees in, and we're going to come to a seat. We're going to take the right leg out. We're going to take the sole of the left foot in, and this is basically a half butterfly. So we're folding towards our right leg, but we're not going to flex the foot or try to straighten the knee or engage or try to reach for the foot in any way. We're just going to lean towards that leg. So I always feel here like I'm just falling very slowly. So as your body starts to fall, maybe your hands walk out so that they can prop you up in the further position. Don't reach for your foot or strain for your foot. We're just letting go. The foot's not pointed or flexed, it's just relaxed. We're trying to not engage muscles here. And that can be really challenging because especially if you're like me and you tend to practice more vigorous yoga, styles, Vinyasa, engaging the muscles is what we do. This practice is complementary to the Vinyasa, which is why we're doing a little of each tonight. Try to let go and not engage. And then walk the hands in to come on up. We're gonna keep the left shin tucked in a little bit, but we're gonna try to take it parallel to the front edge of the mat, or the edge that you're working with. And then we're gonna pick up the right leg and place it across, stacking the shins one over the other. This is square pose. This is also sometimes called like a double pigeon or a fire log pose. So the shins are stacked. The right knee is above the right ankle or foot, and the left or the right foot is above the left knee. Now from here, this may be as intense as you want it to be, but we're just gonna start to lean into it. The hands are there in front of you to keep you from going too far too fast. The hands are resisting. As you feel like you don't need to resist anymore, the hands can walk further away, but we're not pulling ourselves or drawing ourselves deeper into the pose. We're just trying to let go, and again, do less. Avoid engaging with the muscles, just give in and breathe. Walk the hands in, come up slowly, and we'll do both of these poses on the other side. So we're gonna keep the right foot tucked in, take the left leg straight out. Keep the sole of the foot towards the inner thigh. Again, the left leg is really relaxed. And we can kind of angle our body towards the leg, but we're not really working. So again, we wanna just let ourselves go, give in, keep breathing. Stay connected to your body. So although we're not engaging the muscles and it feels like this is boring, maybe, we want to still stay connected. Notice sensations, notice your breath. Continue to be present and aware. I always find it very interesting poses that, maybe I usually hold for 5 to 10 breaths, and they get to a certain point. Suddenly you hold something for 3 minutes and your body is just gonna open up in new ways, and you might find yourself going deeper into stretches than you ever thought you could, just by taking the time and just by trying to let go. Come on up. And we're gonna go ahead and do the square pose on the other side. So let your right shin your heel's just moving a little bit away from you so that your shin is parallel. I know it's really hard to tell probably in the video, but then we're gonna cross the left shin on top. So the left foot comes to stack above the right knee, and the left knee comes to stack above the right foot. But there might be a gap there, and that's okay if there is. That may remain, or as you start to fold, you might find that that gap decreases. So let yourself start to lean forward. You know, if leaning forward too much is too intense, that's why your hands are there. They can help support you and keep you from, you know, too much. Give in, breathe. We've got a little time here as well. Walk hands in, come on up. All right, so we have one last yin pose that we're gonna take. So we're gonna uncross the legs, and this one is actually gonna be on our feet, and we're just dangling. So it's basically a standing forward fold. Have your feet about hip distance apart, and then just let your upper body hang, but keep your knees really soft here. The hands can rest on the floor. We're not gonna like sway or nod or shake the head so much. We're really just letting go. As you go, you might find that you need to bend the knees more. You might find that you need to bend the knees less, but don't fidget too much. Just let your body tell you what you need to do, and then just try to give up the weight of the upper body as best you can. From tail to head, completely relax. And then plant your hands on your mat. Take your knees to your mat. Let's come to tabletop and we're gonna start to move. So we'll take some cat-cow stretches. Inhale, head and tail, lift, chest and belly drop. Maybe these are really small right now, and that's okay. Exhale to cow or to cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Just see what's going on in your back here. Check in. Don't rush. We're going slow out of that practice, but we will start to move into some vinyasa. We're going to start to add on here. So when you're ready, at your own pace and following your breath, next exhale, drop your hips to your heels and take a child's pose. Inhale, come back up to cow, and then we're going to exhale next time to down dog. So tuck your toes, lift your knees and hips, move your heart back. Inhale back to knees to the floor, cow pose, and then alternate to child's pose as you exhale. Inhale, cow. Exhale, down dog. Now after this down dog, we're actually going to come forward to plank. So move your shoulders forward over your wrists. If the hands need to adjust their positioning, do that. And then knees to the floor. Let's go to child's pose from plank. Hips to heels. From plank, we come back to cow. So basically tabletop with a little sway back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, knees to floor, child's pose. One more time here, we're gonna go to our next down dog and then hold. So you might be a little ahead of me or behind me, that's okay. When you get to down dog, let yourself stay. Take a little time to pedal through the feet, bending one knee, let the opposite leg straighten. At this point, we do want to try to work with ujjayi, so maybe you were working with that earlier, but if not, you can start to incorporate it now. And then we're going to take the right leg into the air. Let's keep the hip really good and square. So the toes stay flexed down. You're rotating the front of your thigh inward. And then look forward between your hands and step your right foot all the way up to the front of the mat. Keep your knees stacked over the ankle, but we're going to keep that back leg really strongly engaged. Reach through your head. Plant your left palm. Take the right arm up for a nice twist. Shoulders stack. Now the muscles are starting to work. So that back leg, the quad is working. We're pushing through the back heel, lunging into the front knee, turning our torso open. And then turn to the floor, stepping back to plank, shoulders over wrists. Reach through the heels, reach through the head. Nice and strong, dynamic here. Engaging through the core. We're going to lower down, so maybe chaturanga or take knees down first, but come all the way down. And then cobra pose. Maybe your first cobra is just a baby cobra. The elbows are by the sides, the shoulders are lifted, but we're not taking weight into the hands. But if you're ready to come to cobra, go ahead and come on up. Try to keep the legs relaxed and glutes soft. Heart forward, shoulders down, away from the ears. Breathe. And then tuck toes, lift knees and hips. Move to down dog and take the left leg up. So again, a nice square hip. Toes are flexed down. Ideally, the leg is at a diagonal. So hands, shoulders, hips, heel. Thigh faces the floor or it's rotated in and down. Look to the front of the mat. Step your left foot up. Take a moment to engage through the back leg and think about reaching the head away from the heel and the heel away from the head so that you're feeling nice and long. And then plant the right hand, twist open to the left. Take your left arm up, stack the shoulders, look up towards your top thumb. Breathe. And then hands to the floor, and let's step back to take a vinyasa. So step to plank. You can lower chaturanga and maybe take up dog, or you can continue to keep knees on the floor, and maybe it's cobra for you. Exhale, down dog. Take a couple of resting breaths here. Rooting down through the hands. So the arms are engaged. The triceps lift a little off the floor so that there's not like just sort of slack arms. Heart moves back. Breathe. And then inhale, look to the front of the mat. Exhale, bend the knees and step. Or if you want, you can lightly hop forward. Feet together, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Let's take a half lift, flat back. So reach the head away from the tail, nice and long through the torso. Exhale, fold down deep, and then reverse swan dive. So come all the way up with a flat back, and exhale, palms together in front of the heart. And we're gonna do a few sun A's here, really just getting into the flow of things. Allow yourself to follow the pace of your breath. If it's faster or slower than mine in my cueing, that's okay. So stick with your practice, make it your own here. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Work from whatever end of the mat makes no sense to you. Inhale, reach those arms. Exhale, swan dive forward over the legs. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step to plank and lower. If you're feeling more energetic, you can jump to chaturanga. Inhale, sweep open to cobra or up dog. Exhale, roll over toes, downward facing dog, and breathe. So feel free to modify your sun A's if you need to. Maybe knees are always coming to the floor and you're always working cobra. If you want to go more advanced, maybe you're throwing in an extra push-up. So I'm not going to be doing that, but I won't hold you back. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend the knees and step or lightly hop to the front. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, palms together. So transitions last one breath per movement. Inhale, exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Cobra or Up Dog. Exhale, Down Dog. Now let's just take one inhale, this Down Dog. And then exhale, moving back to the front of the mat, step or hop. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold down deep. Inhale, reverse that swan dive. Exhale, palms together. We're going to do 2 more full cycles here. So following your breath, keep flowing, consistent rhythm, mindful practice. Stay with that strong ujjayi. And then the next time you come to the top of the mat, go ahead and just return to standing. Palms together in front of the heart, maybe close the eyes for a moment, standing in Tadasana, tuning back into your breath. And then let's go ahead and come to chair pose. So we're going to bend the knees forward, sink the hips down. Knees over toes, reach the arms up. Utkatasana, weight to the heels. One more inhale here. Exhale, take the hands to the floor. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. And again, there's a vinyasa here to be had. If you want to skip the vinyasa portion, you can also just go to down dog, or maybe you're ready to start modifying your vinyasas. Up to you if you want to make it easier. If you want to make it harder on yourself, go for it, but not too hard, right? We still want to feel good.
Let's take the right leg into the air, open the hip and bend the top knee. Point the knee to the sky, let the heel drop to the right hip. Really point the knee up. Keep the shoulders level. Little bit of core here, so we're gonna bring the knee to the chest. Move your shoulders forward over the wrist, tuck that leg in, keep reaching the head forward. Inhale, lift that leg up. Exhale, take the knee to the right outer upper arm and hold it up by your tricep for a moment, nice and strong. Inhale, take the right leg up. And then exhale, we're gonna take the knee to the left arm. We're gonna hold for a breath, but then we're gonna kick the leg underneath the arm right through so the edge of the foot's on the floor. And then take the left arm up and twist toward the ceiling. Breathe here. One more inhale. Exhale, take the left hand to the floor. Inhale, sweep the right leg back up. And then exhale, step your foot to the front of the mat. Pivot the back heel down. Let's take a warrior one. So lunge into the front knee. Come on up. And then we're going to take the hands behind the back. So we're going to interlace fingers. So this is a variation on warrior one. Shoulders back and down. Keep lunging into that front knee. Root into the back heel. And allow yourself to fold. Arms reach up and over. Let the head hang down. Breathe. Lunge deeper into the front knee if you can. Drop your chest down inside your front knee if you can. And maybe, we did that dragon pose in our yin practice where we were dropping our chest inside the knee. So maybe you can feel that here. Maybe that's a little deeper now. Come on up, inhale. Reach the arms up, warrior one, and we're gonna open to warrior two. So exhale, take the arms out, front heel and back arch line up. Front knee is still over ankle. Get those shoulders situated over your hips. And then look out over your front fingertips and breathe. Now we're just going to take one breath in reverse warrior. So look to your front fingers. Inhale, stretch up and back. And then exhale, cartwheel the hands to the floor. Move yourself through Vinyasa to come back to downward facing dog. And breathe here. Take just a little breather between sides. We're going to take the left leg into the air. Open the hip and bend the top knee. Really try to point the knee up. Let your right heel drop to the left hip, but keep some lift under your right shoulder so that armpit should be lifting. Now, knee to chest, shoulders forward over the wrist. Hug your knee in tight. Inhale, lift the leg. Exhale, knee comes to the left arm and hold it for a breath here, stabilizing. Inhale, down dog split. Exhale, knee to the right arm. So it's a twist here, and then we're going to kick that leg through underneath the arm. Edge of the foot to the floor. Take the right hand up and twist open, breathing. One more inhale. Exhale, right hand to the ground. Inhale, sweep the leg back into the sky. And exhale, step the foot forward. Back heel goes down. And we're going to come up for warrior one on the other side. So lunge into the front knee. Press into the outer edge of the back foot. So try not to rock to the arch of the foot. Try to keep the hips level across from each other. And then take the hands behind the back. Lacing your fingers maybe with the other thumb on top. The one that feels weird. Pull your shoulder blades together and down. And then fold. Either rest your chest on your thigh or maybe drop it inside. Let the head hang. Let that front knee bend deeply. Shoulders are drawing onto the back. So even though the hands are reaching up and away, we're keeping the shoulder blades on our backs. Now, when you're ready to come on up, float up, one breath, warrior one, and then we're going to go to warrior two. So I'm just going to turn my back on you here, but you should be able to figure this one out for yourself. Front knee over ankle, hips aligned as best you can. Roll to the outer edge of the back foot, shoulders over hips, and then arms at shoulder height. Look over your front fingertips. Turn that front palm up. Just one breath. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the floor, vinyasa. And breathe in downward facing dog. Inhale, look to the front of the mat. Exhale, step or hop, feet forward between the hands. Inhale, take a half lift. Exhale, fold down deep. Now, bend the knees and sink the hips. We're going to come to chair pose, and then we're going to go to eagle pose here. So we're going to let the arms come out. We'll do the arms first. So the left arm's going to go under the right. Lift the elbows up, and then the left leg is going to go over the right. So cross the thigh, but keep the knee bent. Tuck your toes behind your calf. Lift and sink. Breathe. Wrap everything tightly. And now we're just going to start to bow forward. So we're coming to a bit of a forward fold, but keep the elbows lifting up off of the chest. Fingers point away from you, folding down, wrapping everything tightly. We're going to go from here to a standing split. So we're going to unwind the arms, see if you can get the fingertips to the floor, and then unwind the legs. Take the left leg into the air. Fold deep to your right leg. Breathe. If balance is good, take your right hand behind your right ankle or heel. Pull yourself in a little. Now we're going to step out of this pose to warrior one. So you're going to bend your front knee, reach back long with that back foot. Come on up, warrior one, inhale. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior, and let's take extended side angle here. So the right forearm is going to come to your thigh, and then the top arm moves overhead, creating a diagonal. Keep your front knee anchored over your ankle so it's not rolling in. Look up under your arm if you can towards your fingertips. Strong feet, long sides of the body. And then float up. Let's go ahead and parallel the feet, straighten the legs. We're going to take Paschimottanasana here. Outer edges of the feet, line up with the outer edges of the mat, hands to your waist. Nice, long, wide-legged forward fold. Fingers to the floor, maybe palms. Lean forward, let the head hang down. Lift your quads up. If your head comes to the floor and you're feeling compelled to come to a tripod headstand, stay in control as you lean toward the balls of the feet, float the heels, and then let the feet come up and off the floor. Float them on up. Elbows over wrists, and then to come out, reach through the toes. Find your way down. Feet down. Now we're going to take a twist. So the left hand is going to reach over to the right shin or ankle, wherever you can grab. Take the right arm up and twist. Try to keep the hips pretty level here, turning towards the front of your mat. Lean forward toward the balls of the feet. And then, because the left hand is kind of moved to the front of the mat, we're just going to take it down now. Fingers point toward the front, pivot the right foot, plant your right hand, step to plank, take a vinyasa. Holding in down dog, or if you need child's pose, come to child's pose. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or hop the feet to the front of the mat. Inhale, take a half lift. Exhale, fold down deep. Let's come to chair, so bend those knees, sink the hips. And then we're going to go to eagle on the other side. So the arms are going to come out, and this time the right arm will go under the left. Lift the elbows, and then the right leg goes over the left. So cross the thighs, and then maybe toes come behind the calf, but that's not essential. Sink the hips, lift the elbows, and breathe here. Engage by winding everything tightly. We're definitely using our muscles now. Now start to fold it down. Keep breathing. Keep balancing. Keep pointing the fingers away. And then we're going to take it to standing split. So unwind the arms, let the fingers come to the floor lightly. Unwind that right leg and then shoot it up in the air as you fold towards your left leg a little more deeply. I'm going to move to the other end of my mat, but you should be able to stay right where you are. Fold in. Maybe the left hand comes behind the left ankle or heel. Draw your torso down. And then bend the front knee, and we're stepping back to warrior one. So back heel goes down, toes turn out. Coming up warrior one, we're just going to go through our warrior sequence. Exhale, open to warrior two, front heel and back arch line up. Inhale, reverse it. And then left forearm to thigh for extended side angle. Top arm goes overhead alongside the ear. Lunge deep, breathe. Look over towards your lifted fingers if you can. And then press the feet down. Come on up, straighten that front leg, parallel the feet. And we'll do another forward fold here. So hands to the waist, take yourself down. This time we're only going to hold for a couple of breaths, but turn the fingers behind you and walk them back between the legs. Lean in, lean toward the balls of the feet, but walk the hands behind you. Use them behind you to pull you deeper if possible. Let the head hang down. And then the right hand is going to come to the left ankle or shin. Take your twist. Reach the head away from the tail, turning towards the front of your mat. And then right hand's going to come now to the front of the mat. Pivot your left foot so the left toes are forward. Plant both palms. And one more vinyasa here. So step to plank. Lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take the knees to the floor. And we're going to set up for dolphin pose. So we're going to do dolphin for our inversion practice this evening. If you prefer to take a headstand, I'm not going to talk through headstand tonight, but I know many of you watching are really comfortable with headstands. You could take a minute or so going completely upside down. Be safe as always. But let's go ahead. For those of us who are going to take dolphin, we're going to take the elbows under the shoulders, interlace the fingers, press the forearms down, tuck toes, lift knees and hips. You're moving the heart back and letting the neck relax. The head should hang heavy. If the head is hanging heavy and it hits the floor, you have a little more work to do, pressing the forearms down and lifting up out of your shoulders. Now from here, option to lift that right leg up, reach the toes for the ceiling, press down. This is work for the core, it's work for the shoulders. So it's a great practice to begin to develop your inversions. Take the right foot down, but keep it strong. Take the left leg up. Now, if you're in a headstand, you can stay put, but we're going to come down from dolphin and just take a breather in child's pose, and we're going to take one more. So hips to heels. Take your arms out and let's bend the elbows and bring the hands to the shoulders for a moment. Just a nice stretch for the triceps. And we're going to do one more dolphin. You can do just what we did before if you'd like, or I'm going to give you one thing to add on, just some little hops. Press the forearms down, tuck toes, lift knees and hips. Reach the heart back, take the right leg into the air. So this is as we did before, but if you'd like to, bend your left knee and take a couple little hops. Make sure you're landing really nice and soft and not collapsing. Your head is not on the floor, of course. And then we'll just switch sides. So right foot down, left leg up, bend your right knee. Just some little hops here. Now, take the feet down. We're going to stretch out into forearm plank. So if you're coming out of your headstand, you can take a moment in child's pose if you want to, but then we're all going to come to forearm plank. Nose over knuckles. Reach through the heels. Keep your hips and shoulders level. And then take your knees down. Take everything else down to the floor. Let's bend the knees. We're just gonna do a little bit of back bending here right at the end. Grab the feet. If you can grab the ankles, great, but don't let the knees go wide. Lift your shoulders and draw your shoulder blades onto your back. Pull the heels away from the hips. If you want to make this a little easier, keep your thighs on the floor. If you want to make it really easy, just take a Sphinx. But if you want to make it more vigorous, let your thighs rise and pull you up. And then let yourself come down, forehead or an ear to the floor. Breathe. And then bend your knees again. Let's do one more. Again, if the knees accidentally walked wide, you want to move them back in. Reach back with the hands for the feet. Lift your shoulders, shoulders on the back. Come on up. The tailbone is actually tucking here, so it almost kind of feels like your pelvis is pressing down, and you know, it is down, right? So where else is it going to go? But you can activate that a little bit. And come on down nice and easy, forehead or an ear to the floor. So we're gonna twist out the low back just a little bit here. Let's bend the right knee, and then we're gonna pick up the right thigh and try to twist at the waist to step the foot behind us. Now it's not gonna probably come all the way to the floor, but the weight of the foot is gonna draw back. Keep your shoulders square to the floor and breathe. Come back through center, rest your right leg on the floor, extend it, and then bend the left knee. And go ahead and shift it towards the right. Low body turns, upper body stays stable, so we get a twist through the center. Come back to center. Hands next to your chest. Let's push back to child's pose. So keep your knees on the floor and drop yourself back to your hips, forehead to the ground for another moment here. And let's walk the hands in. Come on up and take a seat. Okay, so we will do some finishing poses, and although we did a bunch of stretching at the beginning here, we're going to actually be a little more active in these final stretches. So we're going to start with some twists. We're going to tuck the right heel in and step the left foot over the right leg. Now, if it's hard to get that left foot all the way, or sorry, the right foot's over the left leg. It doesn't matter which side you start on. But if it's hard to get that right foot all the way over the left with the left heel tucked in, you could take your legs straight out underneath you. It's a little bit easier to do. But if you're able to get this arrangement, go ahead and grab either your left knee, your right knee with your left elbow. Ooh, my right left, not so good today. Otherwise, take your left elbow past your right knee and turn. Now, we are activating this a little bit. We're pushing our arm into the leg to encourage this twist. The back fingers are pushing down to lift our spine up. So we're using our muscles to stretch our other muscles. We don't want to overdo that. We never want to crank into something as much as our muscles can take us there. We want to find the edge and back off a smidge so that we're getting a stretch, but we're not forcing it. We're really still allowing the body to open at its own rate. And then coming back through center, and we'll just do the other side. So just switch it. So this time the right leg's going to be on the bottom and the left leg's over the top. And then we can use our right elbow around the knee or past the knee to turn over the left shoulder. And we do use a little leverage here. We're pushing that arm against the leg. We're lifting, we're drawing the shoulders back. We're allowing ourselves to twist.
But once you find the edge, see if you can back off just a sliver so that you're not forcing your body to do something more than it's really okay with, even if your muscles are capable of pulling you deeper. And then go ahead and untwist. And we're going to take the legs straight out for Paschimottanasana. So this comes out of Dandasana, staff pose, which is a very strong pose. It looks very simple, but the legs are engaged, the feet are flexed, the backs and knees are pressing down, the hands come down, the shoulders draw back, the core is activated. So it really is a very strong and dynamic pose. We want to keep the strong dynamism in the legs, but when we take the arms up, inhale, we're going to exhale and fold, and the upper body is really going to let go. So we are stretching the muscles, so we're toning the muscles on the tops of the legs to try to have something to work against so the muscles underside the legs can stretch. But the upper body is just adding its weight. Now, we could grab the feet and try to pull ourselves deeper. And if you're going to try that, and I'm not saying you can't, but generally we don't want to do too much of that because, like I said, the muscles of our arms are probably capable of pulling us so deep that we overstretch our hamstrings. So we want to be really mindful. And I think if we don't use our hands, it gives us the chance to really listen to our body and let it give in when it's ready. Gravity is doing all the work for us here. So we're just going to take a few more breaths here. Maybe close the eyes and drop the head. And similar to earlier, if you feel like you can walk the hands further, or if it feels comfortable to hold on to the feet, feel free to do that. Just don't force it to happen faster than your body's ready for it. And then come on up slow, walk the hands in, come on up, maybe shake the legs out a little bit here. And let's just cross the legs and come to seated. All right, so this has definitely been a full practice in 2 halves. If you'd like to take a Shavasana after this, I do encourage it. So give yourself 5 to 10 minutes to just lay out on your mat in corpse pose. Let go of the weight of your body, let go of all effort, let go of your practice. And just give yourself that time to process, to sink in, and enjoy some stillness. For now, let's go ahead and bring our palms together in front of the heart. Close your eyes. Tune into your breath. Become aware of yourself and how you're feeling at this point now. And we'll close the practice with just a simple bow forward. The light in me recognizes and honors the light in you wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining me today for an at-home practice. Namaste. Please feel free to share this practice with anyone you think would like it. And if there's anything that you'd like to see in the future, also please let me know that in the comments section, because yoga is going to keep happening. Take care.